Hello and welcome to my Genetics 311 Module 7 exam video. Today we're going to be talking about phylogenetic trees and we're going to be using a candy example to discuss that. So we have all these candies here. We have Jolly Ranchers, M&Ms, dark chocolate, cherry candy, dark chocolate with nuts, orange slices, hot tamales, gummy bears, and milk chocolate. So we have to figure out what's the best way to group these together. So we're going to use a phylogenetic tree just like we would do in genetics in order to help us find the items with the most similarities. So first, we're going to start off with a little bit of vocab. So we have the beginning of our tree, that's called the root. That's what bases the tree and begins the evolutionary process that begins in all this evolution. So we have our root. Our first thing that divulges from the root is going to be called our outgroup. It's going to be the least related to everything else in the tree because it was the first to diverge from that pathway. Next, we have internal nodes. Internal nodes are where we see two species come together. So we have internal nodes where you can trace the evolutionary lineage back up to that one point, and that would be an internal node. Next, we have OTUs, which are observed taxonomic units. These are basically just what you're studying. So what are you grouping? So for me, it's candy would be my OTUs. So next, we're going to talk about cladogenesis. Cladogenesis is when one line diverges into two pathways. So two species are formed from one species at one point. So that could be because of some sort of barrier or something like that, but we don't have it specified. So next we're going to talk about anagenesis. And this is basically like if you have one line, you have a species, and then you have another line and another species that comes from that species. So it's not diverging into two, which is cladogenesis, but it's just doing that one species. So how are we going to group together our candies? Let's talk about it. So first we're going to do the broadest category, spicy versus sweet. Everything sweet will go down to the bottom. Everything spicy will not. So spicy, we had our hot tamales. So that's going to be our outgroup. They're the least related to everything else in this chart, in this tree. So next we'll break down sweet into sugar versus chocolate. So now we got to keep going. There's more options for these. So we have dark chocolate and we have regular chocolate. So for regular chocolate, we can break it down into round versus bar. So that's that down here at the bottom. We have our round milk chocolate that's dark up here and bar down here. So when you do that, we get two species that came from that one milk chocolate. So for dark chocolate, this is going to be an example of anagenesis. We have one species, dark chocolate. It adds nuts and makes a new species, but it doesn't diverge into two. So for sugar, we have hard and we have gummy. So for hard, we only have one option. It was those Jolly Ranchers. For gummy, we have a few more options. So we got to keep going. So we have a bear for gummy and we have fruit for gummy. So bear finishes our hard row because those are just the only bears we had in our chart. And we have fruit. So we have cherry and orange. So those are going to be our last two. So just say we wanted to find an example of a most common ancestor from orange slices and Jolly Ranchers. So we trace our lineage back up from both of them and see where they would meet. So in this case, our most recent ancestor would just be the sugar candy before it diverged into these ones. And here are my resources. Thank